Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be reviewing Real Housewives of New York, also known as RHONY, and we are at season 15, episode 8, I believe. Nope, that was a blatant lie. We are at season 15, episode 6. So, without further ado, we open the show with a couple of just random little, I don't even know what to call them, B-roll transition. We're opening with transition footage, but we Sai is at the nail salon with somebody, doesn't even matter, but she's getting her fucking toenail clipped and it lands in the lady's hair. What a way to start an episode of any type of series. And then they move on to Jenna interacting with some cat that, I don't know if she rescued, I forget that detail, but she's like giving tips on how to like be cat friendly. But we quickly move on to the actual first opening scene, and that is Abe and Erin. Everyone's favorite couple, right? The Bitcoin couple. And so they are planning a party for their mezcal tequila brand. Erin's describing how they went to mezcal. They went to Mexico however many years ago, and how they fell in love with mezcal, and they started a brand, and they're throwing a party. And of course she has to mention that there's going to be way more people at her party than Jessel's party. For no other reason than that she's a hater. Like I've been saying this whole time, if you've been watching these reviews, she's a hater. So she had to mention that because that matters about her and her day. Cool. And then she mentions that Jenna is now texting her every day as a result of what Abe said, paired with the conversation she had with her at Jessel's party. So she's happy as a clam, seeming that Jenna is now like chasing her down or hunting her down for friendship. And she just is loving it. And as they wrap up the scene, Abe goes on to say that, oh yeah, you're way less reactive than you used to be. And I almost passed out. Because how much more reactive can dramatic as Jennifer Aniston get? Like, less reactive? Okay. So, that was them being not so cute. They can't even... The couples on this show are like... side-eye worthy, all of them pretty much. Except, well, I'll get to it later, but Raquel and Mel, I'm fucking with their vibe. But we move on to the next scene of Jessel and her mom going to the nail salon, because apparently that is a subplot so far in the episode. And they're at the nail salon, and Jessel is finally happy that she can talk to her mom about IVF, and how, because Jessel kept it from her mother when she was going through that journey, and she just kind of let her believe that she got pregnant naturally. And she did not. So Jessel's going on about how she's just happy that she can talk to her mom and be open with her about this stuff, and how her mom is supportive of her wanting a daughter. And Jessel's very, very, very serious about this. So it's very interesting to see them navigate this conversation, because Jessel explains that Indian parents, families, just think a very specific way. And a part of that thinking is that therapy is just a no-go. Jessel's saying that Indian people typically believe that therapy is just a waste of money, which culturally, I think I can relate. Sometimes I think some cultures really do feel that it's just not worth doing, and it's not worth paying for, especially as much money as it can cost. So that's what Jessel's really saying here. She's also talking about Pavit and just how his response to the baby thing is always, we'll see, we'll see. And they do cut to scenes of him saying, we'll see, every time she brings it up. And she's like, okay, A, I'm tired of hearing that, and B, what does that really mean? So Jessel's just done with the we'll see. And she also feels like she can't have a serious conversation with Pavit. He's always joking, he's always like pivoting. And this is something I also have mentioned before, like I'm worried about them for this reason, because they need to be able to have some type of dialogue. Like, I can't even imagine marrying somebody who, like, can't really talk to me for real. And maybe, like, having kids changes things, but that's a no-go. And Jessel's really, like, feeling it. She's really going through it and kind of seeking counsel from her mom. And her mom is supportive, even says she'll watch him for a date night. So I'm happy she has that support, but it's also really sad to see. And Jessel, for somebody who's so serious, not so serious all the time, I should say, and funny, she seems very serious about this. And I really believe her, and I hoping Pavit does too. So next we move on to a little lunch scene with Sai, Uba, and Raquel, which, let me just say this now, this episode has me very team Raquel. I'm liking her vibe, she seems fun, At first I didn't know. I thought she was maybe kind of boring. And she still could be a little bit maybe, but she's bringing something. She's bringing a little life to the show, a little different energy. And I'm here for that. Let me just say that right now. So they're all getting together and they open with Sai, I believe it is. And she brought Uba a pigeon book, which is just funny for obvious reasons because that's Uba's line this season is that everyone's a pigeon. And they are. Literally pigeons. And so they start with that. That's a cute little laugh. They get into some stuff, which they end up landing on Jenna and her relationship, and if she's like gonna get married, all this stuff. Because Jenna went from a promise ring to an engagement ring, she seems very unsure because she is very unsure. So it's just this whole fucking thing about is Jenna getting married, is she not getting married? But they decide to talk about that. And they seem kind of skeptical, and it's like borderline talking shit, but I think Raquel's also trying to like provide some insight as Jenna's friend. She came on as Jenna's friend and has a very similar story, which gets her into talking about her ex, which is a man, and he apparently is a fellow artist, and she went through a bit of a scandal, and it was a bit of drama because her now fiance, who's a woman, is pegged as a homewrecker. And that Raquel, like ruined their relationship and did something wrong. And a lot of people sided with him because the art world apparently is very small in New York. People know everybody. And she kind of got like blackballed is what she made it sound like. Like people kind of stopped fucking with her and had a very wrong interpretation of who she was and who her fiance was. So this is very, very telling. It gives me some more insight. It makes me just drawn to her and her story, and it feels fresh. So I appreciate Raquel for that. And it's gonna continue throughout the episode. I went on a bit of a love journey with her this episode, and I will get into detail why, but she's just giving me what I need right now for New York, so round of applause, round of applause. So unfortunately we move on to Brynn, who is becoming the opposite of my favorite during this whole thing. Baby girl needs a hug and some therapy, for real, but she's calling her brother again because between her ex-fiance Gideon and her brother, whose name is not even important right now, she just has nobody else to call. And I'm not even trying to be shady, but it's like, I would just stop with the phone calls if I only had 2 people to call on national TV, probably. Like, maybe just go, like, do yoga or something. Maybe that'd be more like, do goat yoga. I don't know. But over Brynn, she's calling her brother again to talk about her friends and yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. She's talking about how she's the co-founder of an app that's about dating and flirting, which I don't know what, like, I guess an app could, like, teach you tips on how to flirt, or I don't know if it's just, I don't know. But she's a co-founder of an app, and she's talking about being a woman in tech and all this stuff. Great. She then goes on to play the victim, which is not great, and I wish I didn't hear it. But I did. And she's playing the victim, and she's, like, refusing to be the bigger person. Essentially, she's talking about how she's had, like, never had anybody, like, actually hate her. And just, like, the same song from the same, like, skewed perspective. And I'm over her and the victim shit. I've never known carbon monoxide to be a victim in any circumstance or situation. So, pick a page, pick a lane, pick a substance you want to be. Or shut up. Next, we move on to a scene between Pavit and Jessel. And I'm upset with Pavit. I'm officially upset with him. It was just the whole thing was just so sad to me. I almost want to start at the end because it ended silently. Like, when a scene ends of a couple just not speaking and saying any words, I think you might know that there's, like, a real fucking issue. Especially on reality TV. Because they are not trying to, like, make shit look good as is. So, it just feels so familiar and so dramatic. It doesn't feel good for them. But they start the episode with Jessel essentially choosing like a foodie spot that she heard of. They ordered damn near the whole menu, which I want to be on a reality show for this reason because those motherfuckers paid the bill. If you did not know that about reality TV, put your application in with me today. Everywhere they go, they pay the bill. I would be ordering everything. Fucking nutrition plan. Sorry. If my doctor's watching this, I apologize. But seriously, that like just would make me so excited. Because I'm a foodie and a fatty. Well, not a fatty. Not anymore. But, let me start. But yeah, that was just very... It was cute that Jessel tried to engage him in that way, but it didn't really it didn't really work. Like, it honestly proved that she comes second to the food. Like, he was so excited about the food and worried about the food, and not really worried about her. And she's trying to have the baby talk again, and he's being just super avoidant. Super avoidant. He's not really trying to have the conversation. And once again, Jessel talked about the whole not being able to have a serious conversation thing, and that just must be frustrating. Like, I don't know when in their love timeline this happened, but if this was like an always type of thing, God bless her for even marrying that man. And then once again, I like Pavid, but Jesus Christ. So Jessel's trying to have the talk, Pavid's not having it. It gets very sad and awkward, like they kind of just stop talking. Jessel gets very quiet. She's clearly annoyed. She brings up therapy. He's saying it's too much money. He could go find a therapist that will do it for half the price. And she's like, no, I'm going to find it. And they're literally going back and forth. He's like, no, I'll find it. She's like, no, I will. And then it ends with him being like, no, I will. And she's like, fine, whatever. Like, that's so sad. She really fucking is like trying to like say she needs something. So the whole scene just like broke my little jaded heart. I hated it. I hate when the people you root for, I mean, I know it's just a reality show, but this is why, baby, this is why I'm here. It's probably why you're here too. So I just hate to see when your faves are like going through it, but that was that. Move on, let's move on, let's move on. So then we move on to a couple that's giving me the opposite of Jessel and Pavid right now. Raquel and her fiance Mel. I think I said it before, I'm gonna say it again, and I'll probably put a picture somewhere in this area. They're fucking a hot couple. Like and I'm not even into that, I mean, clearly. But they are such an attractive couple, and I just live for their vibe. Like, they seem to really fuck with each other and vibe and like actually be in love, and we love to see it. We love to see it. So they're kind of coming back into the art scene. Well, shall I say Raquel is with Mel's support. So the scene of them is like them coming into the art scene looking cool as fuck, looking like an artist. And so she's going to this gallery, she's like mingling, getting stuff about this artist. And so she's just describing how she really was kind of blackballed. She's kind of been away and tucked away, just kind of like moving differently and maneuvering differently, doing stuff differently, it seems. And she's really just kind of stepping into her own. So she's talking about that. This leads into the Mel gossip about her being a homewrecker and how that really affected her in the art world. So that's where she really gets into the nitty gritty with that. But it was just nice to see her go back. So they go after their art and they grab some food, and they're just talking about some stuff, and they're talking about their engagement party and essentially their announcement of their marriage and engagement. So they're planning a party to do so, and they're talking about Raquel's mom. I almost said Mel's mom. Raquel's mom apparently does not support her, and she really wants her to. She wants her to come to the wedding. She hasn't seen her, or she hasn't come to see her in 10 years because she lives in Puerto Rico. And like when she got divorced and left her husband, apparently her mom asked her like she told her about being a lesbian or like coming out or Mel, and she was just like, well, you know, women are very possessive or jealous, right? And that was her mom's response. So Raquel's like, that's like fucked up, like that's sad to me. And she just wants her mom to be happy for her. And so they're considering like, are you going to tell her? Are you going to tell her to come to the wedding? Like, do you want that? And she does, but she also knows that her mom is her mom, and she didn't really support her. So that was sad. It's sad anytime there's a parent issue anywhere. Like, that's just sad. So I hope maybe there's going to be something that sparks her mom to come with the right intention as well. Hopefully. But I made note of this as I was watching the scene, because the way they're talking about it, it's clear that like either some people don't know about them or really have an idea, and they've been kind of keeping this shell in. And with all the blackball stuff, this is like her coming out story again. Like, she is really presenting herself to the world, to everyone, with her fiance, soon-to-be wife, and it's just like, this is really her telling her story. You can tell this is why she did this show, and I'm happy for her for that reason, because if you're going to use a platform like this, use it for some shit like that. Like, come back, reintroduce yourself in your truth, in your happiness, and like share it with the people. So, love it. And this is what I'm telling you, she's becoming one of my favorites very easily. Very easily. And there's not much else going on otherwise, so it's kind of easy. So next we have Aaron and Abe, shall I say, their mezcal party. They're getting ready. I'm pretty sure Aaron is wearing the dress that Kenny wore on Housewives of Atlanta, but You know me, just an eagle-eyed YouTuber over here. YouTuber, I just call myself a YouTuber. Feels correct. So they are arriving to the party, yada yada yada, Naniston. It's like I can't stop myself when I'm talking about her from calling her Naniston. I think that's so funny. Probably because I made it up. Anyway. So they're fucking going to the party, everybody's there. They're in a tight ass space. Like, for somebody who has money, quote unquote, well, no, they don't have money because her husband sold it in the Bitcoin. That's why the place was so small. Got it. But anyway, they have a lot of people. They're over capacity by like 100 people and just still having this party. Like, whatever restaurant this is, the fire marshal might be coming to see you. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on an overcapacity party, but they might be coming to see you. So they're at this party, Uba comes, and Uba almost immediately is like calling Aaron a pigeon because Uba and Sai get there first, and Aaron is immediately telling them about Bryn talking shit about them when they went shopping for Jessel's party. You're being a fucking pigeon and you're mad she called you a pigeon? She's like, look, pigeon. She's like, you're calling me a pigeon? Like, Aaron kept doing this thing where she was like leaving every time she fucked up or said something fucking stupid. Girl, bye. Nobody's worried about you. And you're already worn by somebody else's dress, like, goodbye. So she couldn't handle being called a pigeon. But my next note is that, because Raquel and Mel come strolling in after, and they're fucking hot. Like, I literally wrote that in big letters. Like, they're just, they ooze sex appeal, they ooze some finesse, and I love that for me and them. But they come in, and Raquel is clearly, throughout this whole thing, she's fucking lit. She's fucking lit. I feel like the entire time when people are talking, she's just screaming, yelling, laughing, like she was lit the whole fucking time in her little, I think it was a wig, and it was a shake and go at that. So she was living in her shake and go wig, her like mesh dress, whatever the fuck that was, and her alcohol. She was living for the mezcal. So Bryn is arriving to the party, and I just want her to I want her to stop. I want her to just like Homer Simpson into a bush. Like, I'm over Bryn. So she's coming to the party, but I guess is planning on just avoiding everybody. And that's just like her big idea. That's her big idea. So they literally have a designated table because it's fucking TV, so they have to have a space somewhere. They clearly have a spot, and Bryn is just like, no, I'm just not gonna do it. She's like, I'm just gonna like not engage, whatever. Sai, I want to say I'm loving Sai this season. She's giving on the good team for me, and she seems fucking fun. Like, she's getting drunk. She doesn't really give a fuck sometimes. She curses. She's like kind of a bitch, and I live for that type of person, honestly. So Sai's being herself, and so Bryn is walking. Bryn finds Aaron's dad, who she like infamously was like flirting with. Her tagline was about that. Her tagline is still kind of about that. So she's flirting with Aaron's dad and hanging out with Aaron's dad. So they're trying to like pass the table, and Sai like sees her trying to escape and literally walk in front of them without saying anything, and she's like, hi. And I think Bryn might have ignored her. She might have said like hi really quickly or something, but like she was trying to act like, oh. So they were like, okay, bitch. Like, but Sai really was just like, you're not gonna pass me in my face, literally this close to me, and not say shit. So I love that. I love that. That was very funny. But it also just confirms that Bryn is a certified weirdo, and she's mad scary. Like, just for what? You are so big and bad when you're not in front of somebody's face, but like literally you can't even like just nothing. Like nothing. Not even a little bit of something. Not even a little stank. Like nothing. So she needs to go somewhere. She needs to go somewhere. Walking around the party, talking to extras, loud as hell. Like, she's one of those, like, she's not going to talk to you, but she's going to make sure she's talking as loud as she can next to you, or laughing as loud as she can next to you, in the hopes of something happening. Like, girl, get a grip. Get a grip. So she just thinks she's going to do that. Jenna arrives looking good. I liked what Jenna was wearing. Jenna just be pulling, for somebody who's so, like, not with it sometimes, like, just, like, I don't even know in what way, but like she be pulling out some looks. She just be surprising me sometimes. Like, I didn't know you had that. She just has like random like little flares of streaks of like wild in her. I love it. But she looks good. She looks really good. She comes to the party. Jessel shows up to the party and immediately offends Aaron, which is just hilarious and probably why they fucking hate her. because they just can't take her. Like, they literally don't know what to do with her. She is too much for them. But she comes in with a gown on. I thought she looked kind of formal compared to everybody. But she sits down next to Aaron and is like, something smells, is it you? And Aaron's like, you just come to my party and you're going to ask me if I smell? And she's like, yeah. And she was like, I gotta go. I told you, Aaron kept like leaving every time she was offended or mad. But Jess was like, you wear natural deodorant. Like, sometimes you smell. I don't know what to tell you. And facts. If you're wearing fucking like pine nut deodorant, you might smell like a fucking piece of BO at some point. Like, I don't know why Aaron's mad. It was just funny to me. But I was in that moment, I'm like, oh, this is why they hate her. Because they cannot take her. They don't know what to do with Jessel. And I love that for Jessel. And I love that she does that to them. They need it. So like I said, Brynn was over there laughing and hooting and hollering with extras. And she realizes that nobody gives a fuck. Like, not one person went up to go like engage her, bring her back to the table, seek her out. Nobody cares. And she realizes this and she's like, well, I was like, all of a sudden she wants to go sit at the table. I bet you do. And don't you feel foolish? Because what? Literally, what? So that was funny to me. She like crawls over to the table and they're just like, oh, hi. And the second she sits down, Uba gets it popping. Uba did not wait for shite. Not for shite. So Uba gets it popping because she's fresh off of Aaron telling her everything that Brynn said. And Brynn is literally on mute. Like we just referenced, like she doesn't have shit to say when she's in front of somebody, but has all the shit to say when that person's not there. So, shocker that Brynn's just on mute, but Uba's like going off. Aaron and Jessel are trying to water the situation down. Like, it wasn't that bad, it wasn't that bad. If it wasn't that bad, Pigeons, why did you bring it back to her? And why did you catastrophize it then? Like, so they're trying to water it down, and Uba's like not having it. Uba's still going off because she's the crash out queen of the season. She's drinking the water out of like the tall pitcher that they have. And Jessel's like, Uba, there's a glass. And Uba just calls her a basic bitch. And Jessel is offended to her core. She's like, I'm not a basic bitch like you. I'll do what I want. And Jessel's like, Uba, basic bitch. She's like, call me a lot of things. You can't call me basic. But Uba's like, a basic bitch would like let somebody talk about their friend and not say anything to their friend. So, in the situation, Jessel, you might be a little, you might meet the charges. I'm just saying. But she's very fucking offended. And who loves this? Aaron and Brynn. They're sitting at the ends of the table just like giving each other the eye, literally like laughing and like, oh my god, they're just loving it that Uba's calling Jessel a basic bitch. And I was like, look at those fucking haters. They're heathenist haters. But yeah. Jessel was really fucking offended, and Uba did not give a fuck. She called her basic bitch a couple times, I think, so. So as Aaron is laughing, she decides to turn on Jessel just completely, because of course she would. And so she turns on Jessel, throws her under the bus, and Jessel just literally replies, like, you stink. Like, this is why you stink. And of course, that's, hello, she's gonna be mad about that every time, so good job, Jessel. Because I'm sure she does stink in more ways than one. So because now Jenna is apparently checking on Aaron every day and friends with her again, it's now her role to defend Aaron. So she's trying to defend Aaron in all of this, and I just wish she would have just sat there and looked cute for the day, because you need to be quiet, my love. You just need to zip that lip and be quiet. So she's trying to defend Aaron. I don't think anybody's really trying to hear it. Brynn takes this moment to be like, Sai, like, I want to be your friend again. Like, let's be friends again. Do I have to say that the girl's interrupted? Do we know that she is girl interrupted? Have I made that clear? When I say girl, you say interrupted. Yes, you're right. Thank you. So she apparently just wants to be friends all of a sudden. And Sai's like, okay, you want to bring back to the surface, like, we have to be surface level friends. That's what it's gonna be, because I don't fuck with you. I don't really trust you like that. So, okay, we'll be friends. And good for Sai. Let Girl Interrupted be your surface level friend again if that makes her happy, and she will cut it, whatever the fuck this is, out. So, that is how they kind of reconcile and get back on track. They do like a little hands in, back on track motion thing. Jess will let everybody know that was the corniest fucking thing because it was. And this, once again, they can't take her for this reason. But we end with Erin giving a speech, and notably not a long speech because she likes to do that to the point where people leave her party in the middle of her speech. So she's giving a speech with her business partner, who is the man that she apparently fucked. So she has her ex-fuck buddy, which is also her business partner, standing up there talking about how he like counsels her and her husband's marriage as a joke. That's either a strong man or they're all fucking. We got a cuck situation at hand. But that's how we end the episode. And we had moments. We ate a couple bites. We ate a couple nibbles throughout this episode. Rebecca was there, but they just mentioned how boring she was, I think, and how Brain like pretty much hates her. So was she really there? Not really. But yeah, that was RHONY. That was New York. And I'm sure we'll be back soon for more because this shit happens every week until it's over. So until the next time.